aid, explained and narrated by Krishna Das, KD.
We are going to do the chapter First Aid. First of all, let's see what first aid is. So, to better understand, let's go through what first aid is. You can never know when sometimes life might be depending on you. And this is precisely why learning the basics of the first aid is so important. It is important to learn to assess an injury or help someone with a seizure, since sometimes our actions can be the only thing standing between life and death. So let's define what is first aid. First aid is emergency care given immediately to an injured person. The purpose of first aid is to minimize injury and future disability. In serious cases, first aid may be necessary to keep the victim alive. First aid during an emergency. Emergency may arise anytime to anyone. So even though nobody is really prepared for accidents, you need to remember to decide swiftly. Acting fast in these situations is crucial and can contribute to saving someone's life. Once you are certain that the person is question needs medical help, call an ambulance or yell for help. Being realistic about your capability to provide medical help is rational, but nothing is stopping you from picking up your phone and dialing the local emergency telephone number. Once you have done this, you can stay online with an operator who can talk to you through the first aid procedure, or you can try to help them on your own. You need to keep your mind under control during an emergency of first aid. Assessing the state of the person. It is only natural to be afraid when the circumstances are beyond your control and you are expected to help a person. However, staying composed might mean the difference between the life and death. Put your fear aside and start assessing the state in which that the person is. Start calling their name to check if they are conscious or not. This way, you will be able to decide on the potential next step in providing first and before the paramedics arrive. Identify the type of emergency you are dealing with, be it an injury, choking overdose, or a heart attack, in order to act properly. To have a proper idea of first aid, one should know that what a first aid box must contain. First aid kit. Learn the content of a basic first aid kit, as it might help you when an unfortunate event occurs. Owning a first aid kit is helpful, but there might be situations when it is out of your reach. What you can do is make sure that you know how to handle an injury with any first aid kit that is accessible to you. You should have proper knowledge of first aid kit so that you can handle the situation alone and easily. Now let's see what first aid can be taken during cut or wound. We will see it now. First aid during cut and wounds. For stop bleeding, apply direct pressure on the cut or wound with a clean cloth, tissue or piece of gauze until bleeding stops. If blood soaks through the materials, don't remove it. Put more cloth or gauze on top of it and continue to apply pressure. If the wound is on the arm or leg, raise limb above the heart, if possible, to help slow bleeding. Wash your hands again after giving first aid and before cleaning and dressing the wound. Do not apply a tourniquet unless the bleeding is severe and not stopped with a direct pressure. There are many instances where blood comes out and we don't know what to do. So this first aid procedure should always be kept in mind. Clean cut or wound. We are going to see how to clean the cut or wound. Gently clean with soap and warm water. Try to rinse soap out of wound to prevent irritation. Don't use hydrogen peroxide or iodine, which can damage tissue. How to protect the wound? Apply antibiotic cream to reduce risk of infection and cover with a sterile bandage. Change the bandage daily to keep the wound clean and dry, and also to keep infection free. Now let's see how to treat a burn. We are going to see first aid to deal with minor burns or severe burns. Here are the simple procedure. You can see in the picture first aid for burns and scalds. Stripe hot clothes and jewelry if possible. Turn on cold tap. Never use ice. Run the burn under cool water for 10 to 20 minutes. Organize medical assistance. Can protect burn with cling film or clean cloth. No dressing, fluffy cloth, cream, lotions, or give any painkiller without the prior knowledge of any physician. Now let's see what to do in burns. If your child is severely burned, while you wait for help, call for assistance through mobile or telephone. Remove clothing from the burn areas except clothing stuck to the skin. Run cool, not cold, water over the burn until the pain eases. Lightly apply a gauze bandage or a clean soft cloth or towel. Do not put any ointments, butter or other treatments on the burn. These can make it worse. Do not break any blisters, which we generally do, that have formed. Do not break any blisters. In human life, fractures and breaking of bones are common with everyone. We are going to see first aid on breaking of bones and fracture. What are fractures? A break or crack in a bone is called a fracture. In the case of an open fracture, the broken bone may pierce the skin surface, but in a closed fracture, the skin around the fracture is intact. However, broken bones may be unstable, causing internal bleeding, and the casualty may develop shock. So we should be very careful during fracture. How can you provide first aid care for a broken bone? If you suspect that someone has a broken bone, provide first aid treatment and help them get professional care. Stop any bleeding. If they are bleeding, elevate and apply pressure to the wound using a sterile bandage, a clean cloth, or a clean piece of clothing. Immobilize the injured area. If you suspect they have broken a bone in their neck or back, help them stay as still as possible. If you suspect they have broken a bone in one of their limbs, immobilize the area using a splint or sling. Remember, your single mistake or your unawareness may affect the patient or the victim. Apply cold to the area. Wrap an ice pack or bag of ice cubes in a piece of cloth and apply it to the injured area for up to 10 minutes at a time. Treat them for shock. Help them get into a comfortable position, encourage them to rest, and reassure them. Cover them with a blanket or clothing to keep them warm. Get professional help. Call your help number and find out the emergency for the victim. We are going to see what is dehydration. When we don't drink water, our body lacks water in it. This is called dehydration. What is dehydration? Dehydration happens when your body doesn't have as much water as it needs. Without enough, your body can't function properly. You can have mild, moderate, or severe dehydration depending on how much fluid is missing from your body. All of we know water is life, and more than 70% of our body is made up of water. Water has great importance in our body. What to do for a dehydrated child or dehydrated person? If anyone becomes dehydrated, usually because of a fever, vomiting, or diarrhea, treatment with an oral rehydration solution is the best remedy. There are several other remedies also over the country, options which will give the person right balance of electrolytes and salt. Try giving small sips or by the teaspoon to begin with. You may even need to use a syringe if he is having trouble drinking. For an older child, sport drinks dilute with water are the best treatment. Again, start with a small sip and give him more as he shows he can tolerate it. Animal bites can be very dangerous, as animals have different type of viruses and infection, and when they bite us, it may transfer to us. What to do in animal bites? Wash the bite area with soap and water. If the bite is bleeding, put pressure on it using sterile gauze or a clean cloth. If the bleeding has stopped, put antibiotic ointment on the area. Cover the area with a bandage or sterile gauze. If your child or the patient has pain, give acetaminophen or ibuprofen. So we have seen how to deal and take first aid during animal bites. Now let's see what to do when we have snake bites. Sometimes we are eaten by venomous snakes. What to do at that time? First aid for snake bites. If someone is bitten by a snake, it's essential to get emergency treatment as quickly as possible. However, there are some tips that you should also keep in mind. Note that the time of the bite. Keep calm and still, as movement can cause the venom to travel more quickly throughout the body. Snakes bite. If the snake is very poisonous, it may be very dangerous and may kill a person also. Remove constricting clothing or jewelry because the area surrounding the bite will likely swell. Don't allow the victim to walk, carry or transport them by vehicle. Do not kill or handle the snake. Take a picture of your can, but don't waste time hunting it down. If you hunt a snake, the snake may bite you too. So it's better to take the procedure of first aid as it is given here. First aid. 5 reasons why basic first aid knowledge is important for all of us. People often don't consider the importance of basic first aid education. There are numerous reasons why people put it off. They don't have the time. They don't know where to begin. They don't believe that accidents will ever happen to them or those close to them. They think they already have enough knowledge should the need arise. A trained person is more reliable, confident, and in control of themselves when an emergency arises. People who are trained are more likely to take immediate action in an emergency situation. It allows the rescuer to provide victim comfort. Having someone trained in first aid can bring immediate relief to the patient. It gives you tools to prevent the situation from becoming worse. In some situations, if a patient doesn't receive basic first aid care immediately, the situation will deteriorate, often rapidly. It creates the confidence to care. Having a basic first aid knowledge means that you will be confident in your skills and abilities in relation to first aid administration. It encourages healthy and safe living. A trained person is better able to assess their surrounding. Knowledge of first aid promotes the sense of safety and well-being amongst people.
Hello, this is KD. I hope you like the video. So keep on watching the video. All the best and good luck.